Hello, what's up everybody? Today I'm going to be doing um, doing what if statements part 2. I know that part 1 was a kind of like a wreck, but yeah, I'm here for part 2. So we're going to see this more mouse interaction video, and then we're going to do a challenge, and then another video, another challenge, and then so forth, until after the video if else part 2. Then we're gonna view 2 documents and do a project. And that's all for this live stream. But after this one, I'm going to well, I'm not going to stop it. No, I'm not going to stop. I'm just going to keep doing them on like the time that I have, because sometimes I don't have that much time to do stuff like this. But this is something for school, but it can also be something that teaches you guys um, a lot too. If you are interested in computer programming, software tester, software engineer, um, whatever the case may be, maybe you just want to make your own game or your own app or something, and you don't know how, and if you don't know like how to use code and stuff, it'll be okay. But yeah, if you have any questions, leave them in the chat, because I'm going to mute my mic for most of this live stream, because uh, I just want you guys to hear everything, and I don't want like anybody barging in, because if they like barge in, then I just have to mute my mic. So yeah, I'm just gonna mute my mic for most of the thing. But first, I do have one thing to show you guys. I'm gonna pull up Khan Academy again. But I'm going to pull up my profile. I just wanted to keep it on that tab, so it doesn't have to keep spinning or anything, because it spins a lot, like mostly. But so my progress, it's in my profile. It's the projects. So I did a lot. I did all these. This is the spin-off of a challenge. This was the what's on the plate for dinner or whatever. This is a spin-off of a project. Another spin-off of a project. Spin-off of a project. Another spin-off. Bullseye. It's a spin-off. And then Fun, which is every single one of these are spin-offs, but the one that I want to show you is this If. It's called If because my teacher wanted us to call it that, but I just want you to view it because it's something that I discovered that I could do. So let's look at it. So here is a red circle, and as you know, it just goes bounce back and forth, but it's slowly decreasing in size like a balloon. It's like deflating, which is pretty cool, because I didn't combine those two techniques until now. And then once it goes too small, you can't see it anymore, so I just have to restart. It goes slow and then it goes fast, which I don't know why it just goes slow, but if I just want it to be like super like as fast as this. Yeah, this is the spin-off project that I had to do, and it's pretty cool. Let's get back to more mouse interaction. So I'm going to mute my mic, and yeah, if you have any questions, type in the chat. I will happily answer them, but some of them I might answer in like just replying in the chat. Some of it I might just unmute my mic, but yeah. Let's watch this video and do these projects.
In our last talkthrough, we showed how you can animate a ball bouncing off the walls using the draw function and if statements. Let's review. First, we set up some initial variables for position and speed of the ball. Then, in the draw function, which is that special function that gets called over and over when your program is running, we repaint the background and we draw an ellipse on the canvas. And we position that ellipse based on the position variable and the speed and how they affect each other. Now, without if statements, our ball just kept going forever and ever, or until we pressed restart. So we added 2 if statements down here to check and see if the ball was near the right side of the screen or the left side of the screen, and if so, we changed the speed to be positive or negative so that the ball basically would bounce back. So now we just have this ball bouncing back and forth forever. So that was pretty cool, and there's a lot of really cool animations that we can make with that. But now I want to add user interaction to this program. See, right now this program's like a TV show. If you gave it to a friend and your friend didn't know how to program, they couldn't really interact with it. All they could do is watch it, which is cool, but it's a lot more cool if they could actually do something. So let's give the users some ways to control it. So remember earlier we learned about 2 special global variables called mousex and mousey. Those variables return numbers that tell us about the current position of the user's mouse, and they're a great way to make a program more interactive. So let's see, how can we use them? Well, we should use them inside the draw function somewhere, because that's the only code that's called over and over as the program runs. Everything outside of draw is only called once when the program first starts. So it doesn't make sense to use mousex and mousey there. The user hasn't had a chance to interact with it. Alright, so in draw, we're drawing the ball 200 pixels down the screen right now. How about we just replace that with mouse Y? Because that is the Y position, right? So this way we'll just have the Y position dependent on where the user's Y is, right? So check this out. By just moving my cursor up and down, I can change the line that the ball moves along. That's pretty cool. But I want to use mouse X too. So how should I use that? Well, why don't we just make another ball and have that ball going in the opposite direction, up and down, and there we'll just have the user control the X position of that, right? So we kind of just do the reverse. We'll say ellipse, mouse X, position 50-50. All right, check this out. Now I've got these 2 balls that I control and going in perpendicular directions. But I'm still not happy. I want to give the user even more control. I want to give the user the power to start up the second ball, to actually bring it into existence, just by pressing their mouse. Well, then I need to figure out how to tell that the user is pressing their mouse. Thankfully, we have a super special Boolean variable for just that. It's called mouse is pressed. And we can use it inside an if statement. So let's see, this is our second ball. So we can say if mouse is pressed, and then we'll move the ellipse call into there. So what this is doing here is telling the program that we only want to draw this ellipse if this is true, and mouse is pressed will only be true if the user is pressing their mouse. So let's try it. Ta-da! So now I can make the ball appear whenever I press. It's like it's zooming in from this parallel universe, right? In. It's awesome. So the interesting thing about this variable, mouse is pressed, is that it changes based on what the user does, not based on what our program does. And since the draw function gets called repeatedly over and over, the output of our program will change over time, just with a little bit of user input. With the combined power of if statements and mouse is pressed, you have everything you need to make awesome things like buttons and drawing programs. Woohoo!
In the English language, we have different parts of speech, like noun, adjective, preposition, verb, and then there are a bunch of rules that tell us how to put these different parts of speech together. So if I said something like, dog, books, my, eats, you'd be like, what the heck does that mean? And if you didn't realize this before, apparently you can't just stick two nouns in front of an adjective in front of a verb. It doesn't work. But if I'd switched those and said, my dog eats books, then you would totally know what I meant. I could even replace this verb eats with another verb like, I don't know, throws, and it would still make grammatical sense, even if you can't imagine my dog throwing a book. So in programming, instead of parts of speech, we have these things called types. You've already seen one of these, numbers. We use numbers all the time in our drawing code. And just like in English, there are times when it makes sense to use a number and times when it doesn't. If I started typing in this background function, like 100 minus, then whatever comes next better be a number, or at least something that evaluates to a number, like 14 plus 15. On the other hand, if I just typed 100 space, well, I can't really put a number after that because 100 space 10, that doesn't mean anything. So there's another type in programming called the Boolean type. And it's called Boolean because some dude named George Boole invented it. And unlike a number, which has a ton of possible values, a Boolean can only be one of two values, true or false. And you can see when I type them, they turn blue, which means they're super special awesome words. And you've already seen one place where we use Booleans, though you may not have realized it. If statements. Let's get a quick refresher on how this works. I'm just going to make a variable called number, give it a number, like 40, and write an if statement that says if number is less than 50, then I will draw this first ellipse. So I'm just going to copy this into the if statement and indent it by selecting everything and pressing tab. So now this statement says if number is less than 50, which it is, then we'll draw the top ellipse. And if I make number greater than 50, you can see that the top ellipse disappears. Alright, so this thing inside the parentheses is actually a Boolean expression. Remember, a math expression is anything that evaluates to a number, like 3 plus 2 plus 4 times 8. So a Boolean expression is anything that evaluates to a Boolean. A good way to check if an expression evaluates to a Boolean is to stick the word is in front of it and ask it like a question. If it sounds like a yes or no question, then you know it's a Boolean expression. So here we can say, is number less than 50? Yes, yes it is.
Sorry guys, I'll be back. I'm back guys.
And yes, that is a Boolean expression. On the other hand, if I had something like 4 plus 4, and I tried to ask, is 4 plus 4? No, not a Boolean. So back to our if statement. I can actually put anything inside these parentheses as long as it's a Boolean or a Boolean expression. So I could say if true, and that ellipse would always be drawn, or I could say if false, and the ellipse would never be drawn. I could also do something like if 3 is less than 4, which is a Boolean expression that will always evaluate to true. Well, it's kind of pointless, but the ellipse will always be drawn, or 3 greater than 4, and that's always going to be false. And I can also assign Booleans to variables, like this. So I'm going to make a new variable, var, call it Winston is cool, and assign it a Boolean value, so true or false. Say true because Winston is definitely cool. And now that this variable has a Boolean value, I can copy it and stick it inside this if statement. And now you can see the ellipse is drawn because the value of Winston is cool is true. I could also replace this with a Boolean expression, so maybe 2 less than 4. Now, if you're making a variable that's meant for a Boolean value, you should give it a name that describes the condition when the variable is true. A good way to check if you've picked a good name for your variable is to put it in an if statement and see if it makes sense as a condition. So forget Winston is cool, we already know that's true. Let's say I had a variable called muffins. Alright, if muffins. Well, you know what? That doesn't tell me anything. So that's a pretty bad variable name. But if I had if muffins are baking, then that would tell me that when this variable is true, then the muffins are baking. And don't ask me what muffins, it's not important. So for now, let's just go back to if number is less than 50. Cool. Now let's look at some other Boolean expressions. You've already seen less than and greater than, but you can also check if something is less than or equal to. So let's try if number is less than or equal to 48. And we could also say if number is greater than or equal to 48. And if it is, we will draw this top right ellipse. Oops, and indent that. And if you want to check if two things are exactly equal to each other, you can say if number and then 3 equal signs, so triple equals 48. So that's a lot more like the equal sign that you're used to in math, except this time we have 3 of them in a row. It's kind of overkill, right? And then finally we have, if you want to check if two things are not equal to, so strictly not equal to, you can say if number and then an exclamation point and 2 equal signs, 48. And we will draw that last ellipse. All right, so if we go back to the top, we can see that number is 48, so it is less than or equal to 48, which is why the top left ellipse is drawn. It's also greater than equal to 48. It's also equal to 48, but it is not equal to 48, which is why we're missing that bottom right ellipse. And if we play around with number, you can see it changes which ellipses are drawn. So now you guys know about Booleans. And just like math expressions, Boolean expressions can get really complicated, but we will talk about those another time.
Okay guys, I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I'm back.
Now let's talk about more complex conditions you could check for in your programs. To demonstrate, I've set up my canvas to look kind of like an old game I used to play, Foursquare. There's 4 squares, it's got a good name, and you stand in one and bounce your ball to the other squares. So right now I draw an ellipse wherever my mouse is, so that's like our ball. What I want to do is highlight the square that the ball is in by drawing a white rectangle on top of it. I know I need an if statement to do that because I only want to do it 25% of the time, only when I'm over that rectangle. Okay, so let's start by drawing that rectangle. So I'll just copy the rect from there, but give it a different fill, white fill. Okay, good. Now let's wrap it in the if. You can see it auto completes the curly braces for me, so I got to move it inside. Okay, so when do I want to show that rectangle? Well, I know I want to do it when mouse x is less than 200, right? So that works, but then if I go down here, it's still showing. So I also need to check mouse y. Well, how do I check both of those things? That's why we have the AND operator. So the AND operator we use when we want to check multiple conditions. So we just write ampersand, ampersand, and then we write our next condition. So mouse y is less than 200. All right, so it doesn't light up over here anymore, and it does here. Yay! Cool. So let's do the next square just to prove this works. All right, so we just need to change some stuff. We'll take this rectangle instead. And we obviously need to change the condition so it's not still lighting up. So this time, mouse x needs to be greater than 200. And mouse y is still less than, right? Beautiful, look at that. All right, now in Foursquare, whenever a ball hits the edges, like, you know, these lines in the middle or the corners, we always yell, edge ball. So I'm gonna do that here too. So let's start by writing it, edge ball. And we'll just write it in the middle and make it red because it's really important. All right, so I only want this to happen if I'm on the edges. So we're going to add our if and move this code inside of it. And let's see. So when do I want it to happen? Well, there's edges in the middle. So the middle is when like mouse x equals 200. All right, let's see. Do I get edge ball? There we go. Edge ball. Okay. So that works on this middle line here. But I also want it to work on this line here. So in that case, I want mouse y equals 200, right? Because that's what that middle line is. Okay, let's see. Oh, so that's not working, and now nothing's working. Oh, one thing works, just the very center. Well, that's because I used an and, right? And so it's only going to do it if both of these are true, and that's only true at the very center. So what I actually want to say is only do it if either of those things are true. So that's why we use the or operator. So the or operator looks like this. And we call those pipe symbols, and you've probably never used them before. So you'll have to look for them on your keyboard. It's usually on your top right. Hopefully you actually have it on your keyboard. All right, cool. So now let's see if that works. All right, so it works there, and then it works there. Beautiful. And we could keep adding more conditions here. So with both and or, you can have as many of these as you want, right? If you need to check 6 different conditions, you can totally do that, right? Because we haven't taken care of our edges yet. So let's say if mouse x is maybe less than 3, right? So that should be, there we go, that little edge there. Very good. Or mouse x is greater than 397. All right, let's see if I can get, there we go, beautiful, right? So you keep doing this for all the edges. So yeah, there's and or, and now you can see how you can build up much more complex conditions in your programs. That's good, because the world is a complex place.
Okay, guys, if you if you see at the hint, I'm just pointing this out so you guys will know what I'm doing. This line of code, like the couple lines of code, that's what I need to like fill in. But I just need to like fill in the if statement, blank, like the blank lines. That's literally what I'm going to be typing in. So yeah, just wanted to point that out. Sorry guys, I kind of dozed off there. I'm not sure what to do for this. Check the value you're comparing mouse Y with for your like for the top edge of the button. I tried changing it to any of the other values that I could like think of, but I'm not sure. If I come across it again, I will let you guys know. But yeah, I'm gonna go to if else part 1, and then we're gonna do the challenge, then if else part 2, then logics and if statements, and then all that other stuff. Okay.
Here's a function you might not know about. Random. It takes in two parameters, a lower bound and an upper bound, and it gives you back a random number somewhere between those two bounds. So here, this variable number will be somewhere between 0 and 1. And then we're going to draw that number to the canvas using this text function. Those last two parameters are for the x and y coordinates of the text, and we use text size and fill to set the fill and the color of the text. So if I press restart a couple times, you can see the random numbers being generated. And you'll see that the precision of these numbers is to 3 decimal places. So here's a
Okay, I'm going to try and fix the spinning part. So let's see if this is going to spin and spin and spin, spin, spin forever. You know what? I'm gonna just go to if else, and I'm going to restart the thing, like the page, and okay, it doesn't show it. That's weird. I hate whenever this does. Like here's the transcript for it. Is whenever the person talks, which she talks for a long while. Which this is Jessica Liu, yeah, Jessica Liu, and Jessica is actually a pretty good speaker, but the last speaker on the Booleans was not Booleans, but the logical, I think, operators. Yeah, it's Pamela. That's the other person that I hear. Like those are the only two people I hear. I don't hear anybody else. So yeah. I'm gonna see.
Here's a function you might not know about. Random.
I'm gonna see if I can just skip through some of this. No, it's not doing anything. We may just have to watch it on YouTube, so I'm gonna press that. And now it's on YouTube. So here we go.
Here's a function you might not know about. Random. It takes in two parameters, a lower bound and an upper bound, and it gives you back a random number somewhere between those two bounds. So here, this variable number will be somewhere between 0 and 1. And then we're going to draw that number to the canvas using this text function. Those last two parameters are for the x and y coordinates of the text, and we use text size and fill to set the fill and the color of the text. So if I press restart a couple times, you can see the random numbers being generated. And you'll see that the precision of these numbers is to 3 decimal places. So here's a question. What if I only wanted to generate a number that's either 0 or 1? Well, we can use this other function called round. And this takes in a number that can have as many decimals as you want, and it rounds it to the nearest integer. So I'm just going to go ahead and make a new variable called integer and assign it whatever round gives us. And we can also draw that integer to the screen with our handy dandy text function. So text integer, we'll put it maybe at 160 and 350. Nice. So this shows us that round of 0.2314 rounds it down to 0. And if I put in something like 4.6, that would round me up to 5. Neat. So if I wanted to randomly generate a 0 or a 1, I can take this random decimal that we're generating that falls between 0 and 1 and stick it right into that round function. So just like this, I'm going to grab this number and plop it down here. And now you can see that whenever we generate a number that's less than 0.5, it gets rounded down to 0. And whenever we generate a number that's greater than or equal to 0.5, it gets rounded up to 1. And maybe you can start to see the beginning of some sort of coin flip game here, where if you flip a 0, your friend gives you $1, and if you flip a 1, your friend gives you $10. Great game, right? In fact, let's go ahead and illustrate this coin flipping game with some super realistic coins that just happen to look like really boring ellipses. Just like this. I'm going to draw an ellipse in the middle of our canvas, and that's going to be our coin. Ooh, it's covering the text. Let's scoot that up a bit. Great. And I have this idea where if I flip a 0, I'm going to show the purple side of the coin. So to make the coin purple, I can just fill it with some purple. And if I flip a 1, I'll show the yellow side of the coin. So it'll be a purple and yellow-sided coin. And luckily, with our impressive knowledge of if statements, this is super easy. So we can just say if integer equals 0, so remember we use 3 equal signs to check for equality, then we will fill the ellipse purple. And then if integer is equal to 1, we have a different fill function, and we'll make that one yellow. Great. And it works! Woohoo! But let's think about this for a second. Integer here will only ever be 0 or 1, right? We designed it that way. So that means that either this statement will be true or this statement will be true. Always. We've covered every possible case here, which means we can start thinking about our decision making a little differently. That is, if integer is equal to 0, we will fill purple. Otherwise, we'll fill yellow. So do you see how we don't have to say anything about integer being 1 in that second case? All we have to say is, if integer is 0, do this, otherwise, do that. And in programming, the way we say otherwise is else. So watch this. I'm just going to replace this second if condition with the word else. And what this means is, if the stuff inside these parentheses is true, then run the code in these brackets. Otherwise, run the code in these brackets. And sometimes we'll even put the else on the same line as that closing bracket, just to remind ourselves that these two blocks of code are very, very connected. You can't have an else block unless you just had an if block. Got it? And this will also help you remember not to put something in between the two blocks like var y equals 0, and that would just break everything. So don't do that. Great. So now we know about if else, which is really good when we're deciding between two possible things to do. But what if we have more? What if I generated an integer between 0 and 2 and then I had 3 possibilities, 0, 1, or 2? What then? Dun dun dun! To be continued.
Okay, so that was the video on YouTube. That was the old. This is the new look of it. That was like the old look of it whenever it first showed up. So I'm just gonna play this through a little bit, and then I'm going to just play that. Let's get press play. Oh,
Here's a function.
yep, that.
If you flip a 0, your friend gets
And then that.
thing, so don't do that. Great. So now we know about if-else, which is really good when we're deciding between two possible things to do. But what if we have more? What if I generated an integer between 0 and 2 and then I had three possibilities, 0, 1, or 2? What then? Dun dun dun! To be continued.
Okay, it doesn't like, oh wait, it did, okay. So it says it's correct, but I didn't get any points because I viewed the video on YouTube, so let's go to the challenge. Oh wait, now it's finally doing it, okay. So show the answer. In this challenge, you'll make the flashcard to remember fun facts. You'll display the number when the mouse is pressed, and the question when it isn't. Use the mouse's pressed variable to check if the mouse button is pressed. So, if, and then a text, and then else, and then another text. So that would be, do I have to like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is the text that we want, like, to put in the first if, and then else would be, so that's just doing nothing. So if the button is pressed, and then just put a random thing. So let's go down to the bottom and put if mouse is pressed, and then brackets, which are right here, and then I'm gonna put one down here, and then after that I'm going to, wait a minute, your statement should be inside the draw function, so I'm just going to skip a couple lines and then put that in there. Make sure you have an if with an else, not just an if. Okay. And we only want to show one text at a time. So text, the message would be, what programming language is this? I would say Java script, and then I would put comma 39, 200. I think that's how they did it. Yeah, that's how they did it. And then we can do else, not LA, not, okay, so else, so if else, let's just review that if else, so else and then that bracket sign, so it don't need any other thing in it. So wait, unmatch that, show me where that goes with over here, and then else, which would be this one, I would just copy this and then paste it right there, and then I would do that. So click, oh look at that, JavaScript is right there. You shouldn't have any text commands outside the if or else. This is not it. How's, wait, what? Let's tab that, I mean indent that, I meant, so you shouldn't have any text commands outside the if or else. Oh, so that means that I have to, okay, I have to delete this text right here. Oh, look at that. We program in JavaScript here, so that's what the flashcard should say. I said JavaScript, but it's not what it is. So I had to just do that, and there we go, JavaScript. I'm just explaining this kind of because my parents are out. My dad's working and my mom's out on a walk with her friend, and I don't even know why I'm telling you this, but yeah. So if else part 2, this is the same thing. This is like the same. I feel like this is the same. The 0, 1, but it's a part 2. I don't know why they can't make the videos longer, but I think they're just breaking up what we need to know first for the first challenge, and then they do another video, and then we will know what to do for the second part of it. But yeah, let's watch it on the screen right now. Let me rewind.
Here's where we left off with our coin flipping game. We started out by generating a random number between 0 and 1, and then rounding that number to the nearest integer. So this gave us a number that was either 0 or 1. And then we illustrated our super realistic coin with this ellipse that's either purple or yellow depending on what the number was. And here's the code where we did that. So we said if integer is equal to 0, set the fill color to be purple, otherwise set it to yellow. And then we draw the coin down here. But now I've decided that actually my coin has 3 sides. Yep, a 3-sided coin. So let's add that third side. I'm going to start by making a number between 0 and 2. So after we round that, that'll give me an integer that's either 0, 1, or 2. But if we look at our drawing code, we're only accounting for 2 cases here. So if integer is 0, make it purple, otherwise make it yellow. But now, otherwise could mean either 1 or 2. But wait, what if I did the same thing that we did before, but inside this else block? So I'm just going to say if integer is equal to 1, then set the fill color to be yellow, like it was before. Else, we will set the fill color to be red. Red's pretty good. So what this means is, if integer is equal to 0, set the color to be purple. Otherwise, if it's 1, we will make it yellow. Otherwise, that is, it wasn't 0, it wasn't 1, so it must be 2. We're going to make the color red. If I press restart a bunch of times, it works! Woohoo! So then if I wanted to add more sides to my coin, I could go up here, make this 0 to 3, and then go deeper into this else block and add more if-elses and so on and so forth until I have a bajillion nested blocks. And only then will I realize that this code is disgusting. I mean, gross. Code is supposed to be easy to read and pretty, not as ugly as possible. So here's what we're going to do. Whenever you have just a single if statement or an if-else statement inside an else block, so that means we're not doing anything else outside of these blocks. We're not setting the stroke color. We don't have any more if statements, nothing. All we have is that one if statement, and maybe it comes with an else block. Then we can actually combine this condition with the line before and say, else if integer is equal to 1, then set the fill color to yellow. And then this last else block isn't nested anywhere, it just comes at the very end all by itself. Great. So now what this means is if integer is equal to 0, set the color to purple. Otherwise, if integer is equal to 1, set it to yellow. Otherwise, so if both of these were false, then set it to red. If I press restart a bunch of times, you can see it still works. Great. And the cool thing about this is we can have as many else ifs as we want, which makes it really easy for me to add more sides to my coin. So let's do that now. I'm going to make a number between 0 and 3, and then just add one more else block that says, else if integer is equal to, let's say 2, we'll set the fill color to, well, it was red before, we can keep it red, and then this last else block will be for when an integer is equal to 3, and I'll make it blue. Great! Alright, so in order to do this, you always have to start with an if statement, and then you can have as many else ifs as you want. And then this last guy is optional. We can actually do without it, and then it's possible that all of these will be false, so none of these blocks get executed. But as long as we have that there, then exactly one of these blocks will be run. Cool? Now, this is a case where it doesn't really matter if you say if, else, else, or just use plain old if statements like we had in the beginning. So if integer is equal to 3, And that's because it's never possible for integer to equal 0 and then also 1, 2, or 3, right? So these conditions are all mutually exclusive. Only one of these blocks will ever get run anyways. But that's not always the case. What if we tried to make a game like this without rounding to an integer? So I'm going to get rid of this part where we round it and the other part where we draw it to the screen. And let's make up some new rules to my game. So I'm still generating a number between 0 and 3. Put some more tick marks on our number line. So let's say that if the number falls between 0 and 1, we will make it purple. Wow, that doesn't look like a P at all. You get the idea. Okay, and then if it's between 1 and 2, we can make it yellow. And if it's between 2 and 3, we will make it red. Great, so let's see how we can do that with if and else ifs. So I can start out by saying if number is less than 1, so if it's less than 1, and I know it's between 0 and 3, then it must be in this range. Then I'll set the fill color to be purple. Otherwise, if the number is less than 2, I can set the fill color to be yellow, 255. And otherwise, I'll set the fill to be red. Great. And it works just as intended. So if the number was less than 1, then again it's in this range. Otherwise, it's greater or equal to 1, but it's also less than 2. So that puts it in this range. So we're going to set the color to yellow. Otherwise, it must be greater than or equal to 2. So it's going to fall in that range. And here's a case where we couldn't just say if number is less than 2 and what would be if number is less than 3. Because if number is less than 1, then it's definitely less than 2, and it's also going to be less than 3. So our coin is always going to end up red. And that's why in this case, it's really helpful to have else if.
Okay, so that's that one. Let's look at the review. So it's a bunch of code stuff, blah blah blah. Let's just go over it one by one. So just read up. I'm just gonna read over this. You guys can also read over this. I'm gonna mute my mic so you guys can read it. If you guys are watching the replay, then congrats. on watching this video. I'm not gonna end it. I'm just trying to see how long it's going to take me to. I mean, it takes like a little bit to read this stuff, but sometimes I don't look over it. But sometimes I have to. Sometimes I don't. Because there's like a project at the end of every lesson that has challenges and videos and stuff. But yeah, so the lines use this or. It shows an example. You can use both and or in the same expression, which shows an example. Return the if statements. We can add an else statement. It's basically reviewing everything we did up here. And shows examples. And it shows that this is like, there's like more stuff because there's more people who actually, like, yeah, there's actually more people that, that put comments down, which this guy actually, wait, so at 1:30, isn't that this a bad comment? Okay. Okay, let's go back up. So sometimes we can check multiple conditions and do different things based on each and case. We can use else if. So that's the review for that. And then the random numbers, which it's a little shorter because, yeah. So we've been using our if statements, but we want it to be unpredictably, or unpredictability. What if we want our program to act differently each time it runs? Randomness to the rescue, and then it just shows the example for that. The program outputs trick half of the time and treat the other half, which is other example. And then how it works is the random variable is assigned to a random number starting at 0, including numbers up to 10. Return values could include 0, 0.2, 3, 3, 3.34, 5.5, 6.9, 8, 9, or 9.99, but not 10 itself. The condition checks if the return number is less than 5, outputting the trick or treat. Otherwise, rounds a number down to the nearest integer if the decimal portion is lower than 0.5, and rounds up to the decimal portion is 0.5 or greater. And then the seal, it always rounds a number up to the next integer, and then the floor, it rounds down. And there's like heads or tails thing. There's random 0 to 2, and then the floor result. It's like a chart, and then it just shows a bunch of stuff. And then these guys down here just do that. Okay. Type of variable equals string type of variable string type of variable number. Okay, so project Magic 8 Ball. Let's look. Oh, geez, that's a. I mean, that's not a good Magic 8 Ball. I actually have a Magic 8 Ball around here, but yeah, let me get it real quick. Even though this live stream took like 2 hours to do. Okay, I was trying to look for it, and then I just see it on my desk. It's not a regular, it's not a regular 8-ball. I'll just show it on the screen. Hi, everybody. Here it is. It's an emoji 8-ball. Like you can shake it. It shows. It's like it's liquid, and it either shows um, like that. Shows some random. It's like a big triangle that's trying to do stuff. But yeah, I got this a long time ago. I also got another 8-ball, but that's I don't know where that is right now. So yeah, here's me on the cameras. Yeah. Um, okay. That's the wrong thing. Okay. So spin-off Project Magic 8-Ball. Ever played with a Magic 8-Ball? It's a toy that displays a random message every time you shake it. Such as, it is certain, my source says say no. In this project, you'll create your own Magic 8-Ball. There's a good template right here. Using if and else statements, so that you can use your program to answer your deepest questions about life. Change the if to check if the answer variables equals a certain number, and change the text of the starter message. Tip, click restart until you see the message show up. Add else if statements to check all the possibilities of the answer variable and show different messages for each value. Tip for easy testing of specific values, you can add the line like var answer equals 1 below the last line. I mean, not the last line, below the line that generates random numbers. Then click restart to test it. Make sure you remove that debugging line before you send the project for evaluation. Bonus, give every message a different style by changing the color, adding illustrations, or changing the text styles. There's a lot of text, lots of text related commands in the documentation to play with. You can play with the numbers in floor, random, 1, 5, as long as you at least have 3 possible values for the answer variable. But if you don't remove floor or random, the combination is the best way to create a reasonably even statistical distribution of values. To understand why, reread the article on generating random numbers, which I think was the last one. Yep, this one right here. If you're wondering why my thing is a drum, if you actually see my cursor moving around, which I'm not sure if you can, but okay. So let's just press restart. It says your message, but oh yeah, here it is. It's a drumstick, and then it's a drum. I just did it this way because I don't know. I just found this random I just found a random cursor customizer, so I just decided to do that. Let's change the if statements and to check the answer variable equals a certain number, and change the text of the starter message. So text for the starter message, it says your message. If you guys want me to play music, I can. But this is going to be the project. But let me look and see if this is a good song to play. That doesn't sound right. Actually, that's in reverse. It's Cool in the Gang Celebration, but it's reversed. And that's a little weird. There's Chug Jug with You, that's reversed. Yeah, it's just it's funny, but it's weird. This is Deja Vu. Okay, that was Deja Vu by Olivia Rodrigo. Let's see this one. This is Travis Scott Fortnite present Astronomical. It's a event. Let's see. Okay. And then I think there's Dark Side. Yeah, Dark Side by Alan Walker. So whenever they whenever I had these songs reversed, that it wasn't actually in reverse. It was, I mean, it's not like fully reversed, but it's reversed as in it plays the last. It plays the last like the um, last thing you hear before the song's over, but it's reversed. If it would be greater if the song would start at the beginning, but the lyrics would be backwards, like not backwards, but backwards, reverse. I don't care. I don't know. They just sound the same to me, but yeah, I'm just going to do this. So your message change if to check if answer variables equal, if the answer variable equals a certain number, to change the text of the starter message. So, so I hate when I get stuff in my eyes. Just ugh. Okay. I'm gonna try to do this. Let's see. So your message would be 8. No, it wouldn't be 8. It is. I mean, not a. It is. Doubtful. Is doubtful. So I need to change it so it's to the middle and it's big. I mean, like, yeah, it's a good template, but it needs a little work. Like the text size. So let's go down to documentation for the text. Your awesome text size. Change the text size for that copy. I'm gonna see if I can paste it. If I can't, then that's okay, because I don't care. I don't care if I can paste it or not. Let's paste. Sorry, to make sure you get the most out of the challenges, you have to. Yep. Okay. So text size. Wait. How am I not even typing? Text size would be 10. And okay, that's only for that one, but I'm going to switch it out with the other one. Switch it out with that text. Now it should be bigger. Oh yeah, bigger. But I need to make this be in the middle. This also be in the middle. So it's going to be else if, and then the variable answer is that to 1 is greater than 1. Well, actually, if it's less than 1, so less than 1. Wait, that's not less. That's less. Yep, less than 1, and then I forgot about that. And then a bracket symbol, and then another bracket symbol, but it's going to be, I'm gonna just do the text. I'm gonna copy it off of that and then paste it. I mean, you can copy and paste it from the, you can copy and paste it from, like, you can copy, okay, hold on. So you can copy and paste it from your own like from your own stuff, but you can't copy and paste from the outside, like outside of the text, like the like a link or something. You can't paste any of that. So text is it is doubtful. Let's change it to this is and then true. Not D true, but true. Let's see. That works. Oh wait, I forgot that for random 1 to 5. So it has to be not less than 1, it has to be greater than 1. Well, answer equal to 1. So well, actually equal to 2. So if I restore it a couple times, should pop up. Wait a minute. Let's see. So I think it needs to be greater than 2. Let's open that. Wait a minute. I think I know what to do. So answer is that to 1, and then it's that to, so it would be okay. So it's like generating at random times, but let's make this 3 instead of 5. So 1. So it's only doing those 2, I guess. So else if that. So this needs to be bigger. Wait, no, it doesn't need to be bigger. It just needs to be that and this, but needs some more text size. So text size is gonna be 20, I guess, if I want it to be 20. So let's make it that size. So it'll be moved over to here, but the text size need to be a little bit better. And then this true would be right over here. So this is true. This is true. Okay, so 1 and 2 now. Let's do 1 and 2. So it's not going to do anything. Wait, hold up. It says answers equal to. There we go. It is doubtful. And then. I mean, it's random. Like random guess. 1. Let's see. 1 out of 4. Let's do that. Yup. So. This is true stuff. Okay. Okay, now I'm getting somewhere. So else if answer would be equal to 3, and then bracket sign, another bracket sign, but I'm gonna copy and paste all of this, not just that, but like copy and paste. So copy that. I'm gonna paste it in here. So this, I'm gonna do that. This is true. It's going to be this is so doubtful. so let's see. Uh, this so this might and then I'm just gonna just like copy this line of text, copy, and then paste it onto this line, paste it. This might happen. Let's see, so this, boom, now this might happen. But this has to be, yep, there we go. So now I'm just going to put, so else if, and then else, else, okay, and then the brackets, sign, wait, but it should be that. Oh, wait a minute, I did the wrong brackets for each side, so, boom. And now that will have that other text, not that text, but the other text, the text size and all that. Copy it, and then I'm gonna paste it in here. So now this this will, wait a minute, this will never happen. This will never happen. Let's okay, so now I'm gonna have to put this answer equals, the equals 3 equals to a 4, because we did a 4, right? Yeah, we did a 4. We had a 4, and then that. So why isn't it doing anything? Wait. It's missing semicolon right there. Okay. Now I can restart my stuff. So research. Oh wait, it's because of the oh no's thing. Show me where. Huh. Okay, so I'm missing a semicolon there? No, I'm not missing a semicolon. Oh wait, I'm missing the if part, the else if. This might happen, it's doubtful, this is true. This might happen, this is doubtful, this is true, this is doubtful. True, doubtful, this might happen. I'm gonna have to keep on spinning till it shows that this will never happen. Let's look at it. Oh wait, it's because I'm missing a semicolon right here, right? unnecessary semicolon. Okay, let's just do that. So let's just put it out of 5. See, this will never happen. That actually goes with it. It's funny. So I added that bonus. Give a message with a different style by changing the color, adding illustrations, or changing the text styles. That's what I was going to do. I was going to change the text font. So let's go down here. Let's text font. So text font, and then the font would be, let me think of a font. Let's do Hershey, comma, size would be 10. I think Hershey's not no, I don't know. Hershey is not defined. Let's say luckiest guy. Oh, what? Comma between the two parameters. Let's. Oh wait, I need to add it as a this luckiest guy. So text. Is that only with text? Let's look. So I think the luckiest guy. So this will never happen. What fonts are there? Like what let's just open up text font link to the font monospace. So either sans serif, fantasy, or cursive. I think let's go with fantasy. Let's do fantasy for one of them. Where's my 8-ball? Okay, fantasy. So let's just put this as fantasy, right? Fantasy? Okay, it doesn't show like that, so. Oh, I forgot the create font thing. Dang. Okay. So I need to create a variable. So let's just go up here, var f equals, wait, where's create a font thing? Oh wait, yeah, this is the, okay, so create font. So create font, and then I would say fantasy. So this would be fantasy, right? Yeah, and then I forgot. Okay, so let's change this fantasy to the capitalization F. Oh, look at that! It just shows up. This will never happen again. So, let's do it. Let's go. So now I'm gonna have to change this. I mean, not change it. I have to copy this, paste it into the other ones, but I'm gonna have to change the whatever it's called, the variable for each one, but I don't care because I can just keep on creating variables. So var a for awesome equals create font, and then I would just wait. Why I click insert? Like, I don't know. Let's do mono space. And then let's make this one A. Let's see. Oh, look at that. That's the it is doubtful one. So I'm gonna have to change its position a tiny bit, like that. And this has to be, I mean, let's just put this down at the bottom-ish. Okay, this F will be another variable like F A C. I'll just put C. For C equals create font, and then it'll be cursive. That. So wait, this is true, which is C. Okay, so I don't know. I think that's. Oh wait, that's that font is like the text size. So that's probably what's causing it to do that. Let's make this go below. This also go below. Oh wait, that's the wrong slider. Yep, this is true. So now this F would be E, because face. Let's create another variable. Var E equals, wait, no, that's a plus, equals create font, and then what font, like what other font are there? There's sans serif, serif, monospace, fantasy, or cursive. Let's just sans serif, sans S E-R-I-F, and then there we go. Now let's look. Yep, there it is, sans serif. Now we'll just get rid of the extra lines of code, like that. Here we go. This is our magic 8-ball. Save it. So FACE, I just created that because it's face. I could name the variables something else, but I'm not going to for the sake of time. I know this has been a long, well, 2 hours. I mean, like almost 3 hours is kind of long. So let's look at I'm done, and this is a self-survey, so whenever it shows that it's checkmarked, it's checkmarked. So contains if-else statements, yes. Use at least 2 else, yep, I used 3 actually, 3 or 4, 3 else, 3 else statements. Shows a different message for each if statement, yes, and then generates an even distribution of random numbers using floor with random. I don't know. I didn't use floor or random, but I mean it uses it up here, but I'm gonna say yes. Does it have any? Yeah. Yep. And then it says I certify that this is my original work. I took, and if I took any parts from it and elsewhere, they were non-essential parts of this project, and they're clearly attributed to the top. And then I will show that I agree to this on our code by typing yes, which is UIES, and then I'm done with my evaluation. And then it shows that's good. That's good. Okay, so next lesson, debugging programs. I'm thinking this might be a good one for me, but I'm just trying to get everything, like all these topics done by the end of today. But I'm probably not going to get through all of them. But yeah, if you guys liked this video, and if you also liked my my circle, which it's actually like, I would say it's a balloon, but it's a ball, actually, just a ball getting like lower in size. But if you like my ball or balloon or whatever it's called that disappears at the end like it did just now, then like and subscribe, and I will see you guys later. I'm going to be making another stream, which it will say debugging programs in Khan Academy or something like that, because that's the next lesson. So yeah, I hope I see you guys later, and bye. Bye.